my rifle loaded, and me gonna hang my sombrero on the limb of a tree coming home.
And that was a very short segment, musical segment that would be, from the film Rio Bravo, and that was of course Dean Martin singing there with an accompaniment by Walter Brennan on the harmonica. And by me playing that little musical segment from that film, you might gather that this time it's a Western special, or should I say Western Special 2, The Western Strikes Back, I don't know. But I thought, yeah, I rather enjoyed my previous Western special, that was The Salvation and A Fistful of Dollars, and I thought, yeah, I'll consider I saw this week a newly cinematically released Western, I thought, why not go back again and do a classic Western, but in this instance, a more classic and traditional Western. Of course, you'll already know that this Western is Rio Bravo from me mentioning it, but I'll firstly go into my cinematic release film, which of course this week was the new Western. It's a British and New Zealand made film. It's called Slow West, and this Western, like most, features a gunslinger. This time, this gunslinger, this American gunslinger, is played by Michael Fassbender. Always a joy seeing him. And he plays a role as a loner gunman, not surprising at all in any way, shape or form. But he happens upon a young boy, a young Scottish boy, played by Kodi Smit-McPhee, who was travelling to America from Scotland and out west to find his love. Being the story being that while he was in Scotland, he is quite a upper class member of society, and this girl was a lower class, and him, by affiliating with her, has disrespected his family, and then an incident occurs meaning that this girl's family has to flee the country. So, yeah, it's a lover's sort of film, really, in a way. A lovelorn sort of film, in a way. Like I say, Smit-McPhee comes across Michael Fassbender's character, who manages to effectively rescue him from certain characters, bad characters, at the beginning of this film, and then offers to chaperone him to where he wants to go, a particular forest, in exchange, of course, for money. Smit-McPhee agrees to this, thinking I could possibly do with some help here, and agrees to pay him some now and some later after the job is done, and then proceeds a little travelling affair, which is not uncommon in the Western genre, as they meet a couple of characters, a range of characters, at different moments in time. But what makes this film stand out more in this genre is its ability to switch between traditional and quirkiness. And that's probably really bizarre for me to describe. Like I say, the setup's quite a common setup. Then it's two sort of misfits going along for a ride together. Interesting discussion between them, which is not an uncommon aspect. It's almost, in a way, not a buddy. In a way, there's certainly moments of comedy in this film. It's kind of a buddy western, but more somber, a lot more elegant, a lot more. I can't quite explain beyond that, really. But interesting dynamics going on there. Fassbender's always great to watch. Plays it brilliantly. Some really interesting support in this film as well from Ben Mendelsohn, who's always good as well. Playing very much a prominent gang leader. A gang leader who Fassbender used to associate with but no longer does. And they come across each other at a certain point. I won't explain the reasons why and the motives, because there are motives going on in this film that I don't want to explain because it will be spoilers for Fassbender and Mendelsohn, and even for Michael Smit-McPhee. Rory McCann, who we all know from Game of Thrones as the Hound. It's great to see him in something else other than Game of Thrones. And he plays the father of the girl, who is played by who Smit-McPhee loves, and he's played by Karen Pistorius. I think she's a newcomer. I've not really seen her before. It's a very short film, which is effective. It's only 84 minutes long, so it never outstays its welcome. It's beautiful to look at. The landscaping is done brilliantly. The costume department is fantabulous, if you will, in its whole range of different characters. And like I said before, what makes it stand out a bit more, this film, from other westerns, is its ability to switch from traditional traits of a western to quirkiness. And it's hard for me to fully explain some of the quirkiness without spoiling moments of the film, but towards the end of the film there's a big shootout at the house where this family lives, the girl and her father, and it turns out, no, it's not really much of a spoiler because you find out reasonably a third into the film what's going on, so it's alright to say this, is that because of the high, there's a ransom on this family for them to be killed, so there's obviously Ben Mendelssohn's gang, like I said, and there's also another lone bounty hunter also going for this reward. So there's a massive shootout regarding Fassbender and Kodi Smit-McPhee and this family and this gang and this other lone bounty hunter. And it's an amazing scene, it's an amazing sequence of them coming in and out of the corn. It's beautifully choreographed, and there's bits where somebody gets shot, and it's so hard to explain this without spoiling it, but there's a bit where a character gets shot, and then somebody shoots a salt pot, and the salt goes into his wounds, and we don't even say, but it was all about literally rubbing salt into his wounds, considering what had happened and who had shot this person and what was going on with that bit there. And then there's another bit where somebody quotes something like saying, "Oh, there's a bit to do with somebody's heart," and I can't really explain it because it spoils it, but it's fabulous. It's really good, and yeah, it's just a breeze of a film. What I enjoy about westerns is that I feel comfortable in a way. I feel nicely. I'm gathering around the fire with friends, and I think that's the reason why I love westerns. But yeah, this is a great western. It's a great western, and it's on such a limited release. Seek this film out. Seek it out because it is fantastic. It's a first-time director, a guy called John McLean. I've no idea what his background is, but he's done a fantastic job here, and I'd love to see what more he does in the future. But yeah, it's fabulous. It's great, and yeah, no more to say really. So I'll go on to my classic film of the week, which is as we heard at the beginning, I heard it play a musical segment from Rio Bravo, the absolute classic Howard Hawks western. Howard Hawks is a director of many talents. He's made films, be it gangster, be it comedy, be it sci-fi. I think The Thing from Another World. So we had The Thing from Another World, Scarface, Bringing Up Baby, and of course you've got westerns as well in Red River, and in this case Rio Bravo, which in my opinion, I actually think it's the best classic western, personally, that I've seen. And the reasons I'll go into them now if you like. There's many reasons. Of course, John Wayne is the star of this film. When is John Wayne never a star of a western? But in this film, he's at his absolute best, because there's no doubt describing John Wayne's acting abilities could be described as, I've said this about Jason Statham recently, and this is not an unfair comparison in comparing John Wayne to Jason Statham, because John Wayne, he does well what he does. He does it well. I mean, he's brilliant in westerns. he just reaps the authority you need for that sort of role. And in this film, he plays a sheriff of a town. His character's called Champ. He has a deputy called Dude, who is played by Dean Martin. An Aoki, a brilliant shootist, but an Aoki who's on the recovery, hopefully. So there you go. Yeah, once again, massive traits of a western, and powerful sheriff, and drunk gunslinger. And not uncommon traits, like I said. And also in this film is a young Ricky Nelson. So continuing the musicians playing, acting, things going on. A young gunslinger. Yeah, whippersnapper. Once again, that's not an uncommon thing, is it at all? I mean, just look at, because you can just compare it to like Unforgiven, couldn't you, with the character in that, with the young gunslinger and the old weary shooter in Clint Eastwood. But yeah, so interesting, really good characters. Like I say, what sets us apart from your other westerns is the comedy. And now many westerns are funny, but not intentionally, particularly the classic ones. Now in this is intentionally funny, and it's a joy. It's an absolute joy, and it's hard to explain why in a way, because I think it's the combination of things. I actually think it's the relationship between Dean Martin and John Wayne, because that's a combination you've never seen in a western before. It's a brilliant combination of characters. There's also a character called Stumpy, who's played by Walter Brennan, who really is. He should be classified as the comic relief, but because other parts of the film is fun, other characters have funny moments as well. He purely isn't just that, but my God, is he funny? He has some of the best lines in this film. It's great. He's like the jail keeper, and what the story is that John Wayne and Dean Martin have apprehended a lowlife, a thug, a criminal, and they have got to keep him in their jail for, I guess it's 7 days before the authorities arrive to effectively take him away. But obviously in the meantime, this character has fellow criminals who want to break him out, and so on and so forth. And he also has a very rich brother. So, very rich brother is paying people and assassins and lowlifes again to try and get him out of jail. And it's just about them defending the jail in a way and how best to do that. And it's really good. It's well done. This film is 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and it does not seem like that at all. Because like I previously said about Slow West before, at 84 minutes it knows its limits. This film, I think it might be the longest westerns I've ever seen, but it never feels like it in any way, shape or form. And it's because you're having such joy in the company of these characters. You're enjoying having the company of John Wayne, Dean Martin, Walter Brennan, and Ricky Nelson. They're just great. Their interplay is fabulous. And yeah, the music, and there's that musical segment I played at the beginning of this video is a moment you think would be just elbowed in, and in a kind of a way it is, but because of your joy of enjoying the characters as they are, it just at the moment it does feel natural that they're bonding together all of a sudden when they've all got together towards the end, and it's great. The music segments are great. The comedy is great. The action sequences at the end, it was great. Even in between, the gunplay is great. I just don't know I'm running out of superlatives to say really about this film, because I absolutely love Rio Bravo. And yeah, brilliantly directed, brilliantly written, brilliantly sung, and an all-time classic of the Western genre. I don't think of it. Angie, I must obviously the one. I'm a bit. It was a bit wrong of me not really to mention Angie Dickinson, who is the sort of love interest of John Wayne in this film. And it's not a predictable love interest, because she's quite a feisty woman. So it's not like a damsel in distress. She can more than take care of herself and is helping at certain points as well. So she is great in this film again. And many of her moments are some of the comic relief moments as well, actually. So yeah, fantastic performances, fantastic film, fantastic director, fantastic really written, and like I say, a fantastic film of the Western genre. And that is why this week it was a Western special. Well, I say Western special 2, The Western Strikes Back. I'll never get that's a sale, will I? Oh well, but yeah, there we go. Slow West was my cinematic release film of the week, fabulously made film, and Rio Bravo was my classic film of the week, and it is wonderful, brilliant. Like I say, run out of superlatives. Watch those films. Watch them both. And so yeah, if you enjoyed my Western review, please subscribe to me. And if you do, I do hope to see and speak to you next time. I thank you again for watching, and goodbye.